So we finished talking about your high school and why you wanted to pursue software engineering. So when you got to U Ottawa, you were in your first year, and like all first years, we have our co-op in the summer, and it's obviously a lot of stress for us first years. So what is it like, what was your experience like getting your first co-op?
Okay, my experience is pretty good.
Okay. So you weren't stressed?
I think everybody's a little stressed, and that's normal. Everyone is the same amount of stress, I'm telling you. Like, you know, what you're feeling, others are feeling too, so you're not an anomaly. But yeah, I mean, I was stressed like a little bit because I was stressed about like the interview process, because I was like, oh my God, what are they going to ask me? What if I don't know the answer? And once, like, I think I talked to a few upper year students. I think that's very important, right? Okay. Just talk to more people to see how their experiences were. And they told me, like, if you don't know, that's okay, you know? When you're doing your first co-op, or when you're looking for your first co-op, I don't think they're looking for someone that is super technically proficient. They're looking for someone that wants to be technically proficient, that wants to learn. So I think, like, once I realized like what I have to offer to them, I kind of became more confident, because I was also looking for a good opportunity for me to learn. So it goes both ways. There are expectations both ways. So for me, what I had to offer was a really eager student, you know, and what I was looking for was a really good mentor to teach me. And so when I went to interviews, I talked to them like it was a conversation. Like I wasn't like, I was like a good, like I wasn't too formal. Like I tried to be as comfortable as possible, because they're not there to challenge you or challenge your you know, academic knowledge and your academics and your technical proficiency. Like, they're not there to make you feel bad. They're just there to see if you would be a good fit for their team. And my job was to show them if I was interested in their team, which obviously everywhere I applied, I was interested. My job was to show them that, hey, I'm really interested and I think we could work well together. Okay. So I think that's the important part, especially for your first co-op, because that's what you have to like offer them. And so when I changed kind of my mindset, and I kind of luckily did it really early because I have an older sister. And when I say like talking to upper year students, I talk to my sister about like, hey, I'm feeling nervous, like, you know, like, how do I deal with this, you know, stress? And she told me, like, look, don't have like crazy expectations. Just tell them what you were looking for. What do you want to do? Like, just keep things simple. You know what I mean? And if you can like convey that, then it gets really easy. You know what I mean? Because when you're calm, composed, and confident, they will kind of get that energy and like want to work with you. And don't, it's your first co-op, don't be too picky. Don't not apply to a job because I think I can do better. Like, just apply to it. Like, you know what I mean? What if you can't? So for me, I wasn't too picky. I was like, look, I want the experience. I want to go to interviews to see if I can find someone that can teach me and like work with me in a way that I need them to. And when I did that, I ended up with a really, really good place with like amazing people. My team was incredible. So I worked at like Public Works and Government Services Canada for my first co-op. A lot of people say, and we're in Ottawa, so like a lot of people say like they don't want to work for the government, or like they think it's boring, they're not going to get a lot of work. My experience with the government was very positive. I got a lot of work, I learned a lot, and I had an incredible team, and it was pretty fast-paced too. And I know other people have had like not so good experiences, but you have to keep an open mind. You can always go there, not get enough work, and ask for more work, or and if you're not getting enough work, you can work on your side projects. You can there's always a way to like find a way to
find
improve.
The silver lining.
Exactly. And yeah, don't be nervous. Like, you gotta change your expectations, like if you're nervous, I guess. And just be okay with what you're offering them, because that is enough, you know. In your first co-op, they're not going to ask you too technical questions, and even if they do ask you technical questions, that's okay. That's their job, right? To make sure like you know a little bit. And if I didn't know the answer to something, which I don't really remember my interview exactly, but I'm pretty sure they did ask me technical questions, and I'm pretty sure I didn't know the answers to a few, and I just said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sure, but maybe it's this, or I'm thinking it has something to do with that, or like, am I close? Like, you gotta just show your interest. So when they ask you a question and you don't know the answer, it's a really good opportunity for you to show them how good you are at being a student, how good you are at asking more questions to figure out the answer, how good you're at dealing with not knowing, because you can't know everything. Like I said, like our software engineering is such a broad field. It's okay to not know, but it's best to want to learn, you know? And that's what, if you show them that, that's what they're looking for. That's why they're there, and they'll be really happy with that. And that's exactly what I did. I don't think I answered all the technical questions, but I was like, hey, but like, I'm really looking to learn, and like, if you could tell me what it is, you know, that'd be great, because then I'll know. And if someone asks me again, even if I don't get the job, now I know an answer to a few of these questions. You know what I mean? So don't be nervous. Like, you'll be fine. You'll get a job. There's so many jobs out there. You're in software engineering, and you're very privileged to be able to do co-op after your first year. Yeah. So be happy about that, and take that positivity into your applications and your interviews.
So I forget the full name, but at the government,
right?
What was your role? What were kind of the technologies you were thrown in at?
Okay.
What was something that maybe you've learned from that internship and you're still using now? Yeah, that's the question.
So my role was like that of a web developer. Okay. And so it was like really simple, like, you know, CSS, JavaScript, HTML kind of thing. So it was really straightforward, which I really liked. It was like a good, sweet job that, you know, once I knew like, you know, how they go about their processes, like I could do it like really, really fast. Like I could get their tasks done. So it was a really good first co-op. That's why I was like, my experience was great, because it was not too easy. Like, they did give me like real work that everyone else was doing. And it also was like simple enough that when I could finish all the tasks, it made me feel more confident. So after like my first co-op, I was pretty confident, like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. You know, because at the job, I was able to deliver. What was your other question?
The other question was, what technologies did you use?
So yeah, just JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and a few of their like own QA tools that I do not remember. And
what was something that you learned at that internship and you're still kind of using today?
Like, I know it's like nothing technical, but like being okay with asking questions. Okay. Whenever I need. So what I would do is like, I would try to like figure something out by myself for a certain amount of time. And I would find that sweet spot where like, you know, I want to like ask a question right now, otherwise it'll be too late. And I wouldn't ask like a question too early, because again, I want to spend some time figuring it out on my own. Mm-hmm. But if I couldn't, like, I think that ability to like ask the question at the right time and the right questions to the right people, that was pretty good. I think that was something I learned.
That's also something I struggled with at my first co-op.
Yeah.
Like the first couple of weeks, I would just ask a question right when I was stuck. Right. But then my manager would be like, he'd tell me like, okay, you can't keep asking questions. So what he would do is he used this rubber ducky thing. Did you ever do that?
No.
Okay, so basically you have a rubber ducky in front of you. Mm-hmm. And instead of asking someone, you talk to the rubber duck. Oh. You tell it what you're trying to do here, mm-hmm. what your code is supposed to do. And then the idea is that while you're conversing with the duck, you'll be able to pick up where you were making the
Right.
mistake.
It makes you think out loud.
Yeah.
I like that strategy. I
So
really like that.
I actually used the Pikachu that's there. Yeah, that was my rubber duck when I was at co-op.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so sweet. But yeah, that's a very good strategy. But for me, my problem was the opposite. At first, I would not want to ask questions at all because I felt like if I asked questions, then they would think I don't know how to do it, or I'm not trying, or not taking it seriously, or whatever. I was overthinking it, to be honest, because they weren't thinking any of these things when I was asking them questions. They were expecting questions. So for me, I would like delay asking questions and then only ask a question when I was like, okay, like this deadline is coming up, like I need to like figure it out. So then I would ask questions. So I found that eventually I found that sweet spot to ask like the right questions at the right time. But yeah, it's a process. Like it's such a small skill that no one talks about, but it's so important, you know, especially for your future co-ops. Because once you learn it, like once you know, like I guess it's helpful.